In my last video, What Happened to Mascot Horror, I talked about how the genre has fallen from being creative and original to becoming an overused formula. In that video's 5th chapter, I mentioned Amanda the Adventurer, a rare example of Mascot Horror doing it right. Originally, I wanted to dedicate a whole section to games like that, but it didn't quite fit. So here it is, the secret 6th chapter. Today we're ranking 5 Mascot Horror games that are doing it right. I'll go over what the community thinks, then my thoughts, then finally rank the game on a tier list. These are my personal rankings, and the community opinions are pulled from places like Reddit and Steam discussions, not the entire player base. With all that said, sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy Mascot Horror, the secret 6th chapter. Garten of Banban has a large, active community. Chapter 8 generated a lot of playthroughs, theory videos, and discussion threads. Responses are enthusiastic but mixed. The game is seen as a step up for the series. Many players consider it the best installment so far. Fans love the lore and episodic reveals, while some players criticize pacing or the polish, and might find some chapters polarizing. For some fans, the game formula felt too familiar from the previous games, almost like it was just a Banban game repeated over 8 times. That's what the community thinks. Here's where I stand. This game definitely exists. It's alright. I think the overall puzzles are good. The character designs are pretty good too, and the atmosphere and the music fit very well, but the music should not have been repeated over and over like it was in some sections of the game. Banban 8 was definitely padded out for time, and it 100% could have been shorter. There were a couple of puzzles that you had to repeat tasks more than you probably needed to. It was clear to me that the Euphoric brothers did whatever they could to get the game over the 2-hour mark. The game was also really easy. I did die a couple of times, but when I did, I didn't feel like the game was hard. I just felt like I was being stupid. For most of the game, I was just wondering when it would end. It could have been way shorter and still gotten all the same story beats across. It also wasn't very scary, but the atmosphere and the music are pretty good, landing it right in B tier for me. The community sees My Friendly Neighborhood as a polished indie mascot horror with a unique twist blending survival horror and mascot horror into a game with a nostalgic aesthetic. Players commonly praise the atmosphere, level design, and puppets. The short length and pacing is not enough for certain players. Thematically, many love the puppets, but some feel like the story could have gone deeper and darker with it. But the overall nostalgic feel is what hooks players. But what did I think after playing it for myself? Well, if you know anything about me, you know I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Games that make me feel like it's a Wednesday morning and I'm eating cereal and watching TV in the kitchen is what I live for. My Friendly Neighborhood does that. The setting and puppet design is amazing, but it's not very scary, which doesn't bode well for this mascot horror. But putting aside that it's not very scary, everything else is really good. Solid A tier. Indigo Park has a very split reception. Some players and creators praise its atmosphere and its characters. Others call it derivative and not very scary. Fans love Rambly the Raccoon. He has a very vocal fan base, from theories to fan art and everything in between. Some YouTube creators are calling him a standout mascot, fitting in with the mascot horror giants like Freddy Fazbear and Huggy Wuggy. I think I know where I'd land. Personally, I think this game was great. The overall atmosphere, character design, and dialogue were amazing. Indigo Park takes heavy inspiration from Disney World, which I've never seen a mascot horror game do. This game wasn't afraid to get blood on its hands either, as it's very gory at the end. Unique Geese, the developer, has a talent for storytelling. The gameplay, however, needs work. There were basically no puzzles, and the chase was very underwhelming towards the end, and gave off classic mascot horror chase vibes. It's also, sadly, not very scary. I am very excited for Chapter 2 though, and the teasers are looking great. Indigo Park, I feel, is a low S tier. It needs some polish to really make it stand out, and I think Chapter 2 is going to be the polish that Indigo Park 1 was missing. This game isn't technically out yet, so there aren't any mainstream user reviews, at least none that I can find. That's okay though, because thankfully before the demo got pulled from Steam, I got to play it. Personally, I feel like this game is a hit. There were moments where I was genuinely scared. This game takes multiple screenshots on its own that make you feel like you're being watched. At the end of the demo, your desktop is displayed in-game, which really freaked me out. This game feels very fresh and very creative. This was just a demo, so I can't really criticize it too hard, but I felt like the gameplay was bare bones, and there wasn't enough puzzles. But again, it was just a demo. This game has high potential, and I can't wait till it releases. I want to rank Giggleland in the S tier because I was genuinely scared, and none of these other games scared me. But that feels unfair because it's just a demo currently. So accounting for that, it gets a very low A tier. Overall, MUZY is largely positive among players. Steam shows a large amount of positive reviews, and players are calling it a fresh take on the genre. Many people praise MUZY for being different from the usual formula. Players highlight the atmosphere, the unique designs, and the overall pacing of the game. As with many indie horror mascots, though, players note that there are length issues and that the scares are hit or miss. That's the general vibe from players, and I mostly agree. MUZY feels original. At first, I felt like I was playing a Garten of Banban clone. Then we learned what a MUZY is. I thought it was another living creature with big eyes and a smiley face. The MUZYs are animatronics, and there are a lot of them. They are still creatures with big eyes and smiley faces, but having an animatronic as your main villain isn't really done anymore in Mascot Horror, aside from FNAF. The atmosphere was also amazing. You go from this bright, happy play area to this dark hallway where you can barely see in front of you. It wasn't very scary though. The only jump scare that got me wasn't even from an enemy. The second chase in the game felt off too, like it needed more work because it was left unfinished. The game is free on Steam and it only took me 35-ish minutes to beat, which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes short games are better, but this time, not so much. This game feels so original. The devs nailed the atmosphere and the designs are so good. But the game isn't very scary. It's really short and it feels unfinished. B tier. It's easy to look at Mascot Horror and see only the cash grabs or uninspired copycats. But if you take a step back, you see that there are still devs willing to take risks, willing to make something creative, something with heart. These 5 games prove that the genre isn't dead, it just needs the right hands guiding it. Support the devs taking risks. That's what keeps horror scary. What do you think? What's your top 5 Mascot Horror games, and can the genre survive? Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, thank you so much for enjoying. I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. And goodbye.